Hi, my name is Justin Lin, investment strategist at Global X ETFs, and welcome to this week's Express Lane. Last week, both US and Australian stocks ended the week in the green as interest rate outlooks improved and the earnings season continued to deliver very strong results. Now for the green lights of this week. Investors are getting the green light to invest in US stocks this week after the earnings results over the past few weeks have continued to deliver. For example, as of last Friday, 2/3 of the S&P 500 have now reported, and the average company in the S&P 500 is beating earnings and beating sales by the most in at least 2 years. Big tech names too are also delivering on their earnings results. However, investor reactions have been mixed based on guidance commentary. Overall though, the US economy and US stocks appear to be growing very strongly. Now for the yellow lights of this week. The Aussie dollar strength, especially against US dollar, could be peaking as the interest rate path between the RBA and the Federal Reserve starts to flip. Last week, with inflation results in Australia coming in much cooler than expected, the RBA is actually not expected to rate hike at all for the rest of the year. However, US investors still expect the Federal Reserve to raise rates by as much as 2 times by June 2027. If that is the case, then the Federal Reserve could push the US dollar to appreciate quite meaningfully against the Australian dollar. Now for the red lights of this week. Volatility in the Korean market, i.e. the Kospi, is higher than it even was during the global financial crisis. Now this comes as leverage bets are being unwound and investors flee the market. Eventually, calm will likely return to the Korean market, but the current environment is extremely uncertain, and investors should expect very wild fluctuations in the equity markets in the near term. Thank you for joining us for this week's Global X Express Lane. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I look forward to seeing you next week.